Hi viewers, welcome to our YouTube channel PowerU Act, before our PowerU Act Aficionado Achievers series. Please like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
In this video, we'll discover about why it is hard to make decisions. No matter what you do or who you are, you're certain to make countless decisions each day. Of course, most of them will be fairly minor and inconsequential. A lot of daily decisions are simple. What will I have for breakfast? Will I drink a cup of tea or coffee? Which Netflix show will I watch tonight? However, some decisions are considerably more complicated and challenging to make. The choices we make in these situations have a major impact on our lives. Questions such as, should I take that job? Should I move 100 miles away? Should I have a baby? Or should I buy a house? All of these are major life decisions. It's no wonder that it's so difficult to come down on one side or the other with complex choices like these. The good news is that even if you think you're terrible at making decisions, it's a common problem. Most people struggle with decision making. This is because the human brain is made to find decision making difficult. There are numerous psychological factors controlling the way we act and think. However, the better you understand those factors, the more effective you'll become at controlling them. Status quo bias. It's a fact that many of the decision-making mistakes we make are down to cognitive bias. This is the tendency we have to think in a particular way without realizing it. All too often, status quo bias is to blame. We're all more likely to stick with something we know rather than choosing something that's different and new. Alternatives are seen as a risk. They are unknown. They take effort. Will they really be worth the effort? Even if the possible outcome is a positive one, will it really be worth the trouble the change will cause? With this in mind, it's easy to see why, even without realizing it, we often become extremely resistant to the idea of change. Choice overload. Status quo bias isn't the only thing that affects our ability to make decisions. Most studies have shown that stress has an impact. It not only affects the quality of the decisions we make, but also our ability to make them. One study proved this very clearly. In an upmarket food store, 2 displays were set up offering free jam samples. While one stand gave customers 6 flavors to pick from, the other offered 24. While the bigger display was able to attract more attention, customers were 6 times less likely to make a purchase. This clearly demonstrates the choice overload phenomenon. When we experience choice overload, we're overwhelmed by the number of different options we face. It becomes extremely difficult to compare them and weigh them up. As a result, we're less likely to make a decision at all. Most of us would prefer to walk away than to have to cope with the stress of making a choice. Decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is another similar phenomenon. It occurs if we have to make many different decisions consecutively. This commonly occurs to all of us in our daily lives. The result is an effect known by psychologists as decision fatigue. As you might guess from the name, decision fatigue means that making many decisions during an extended period drains our willpower significantly. As a result, we struggle to say no. We tend to agree to any and every decision placed in front of us. This means that we are more likely to make poor choices. Impulse buying, eating junk food, and making unwise relationship choices are all inevitable. On the other hand, decision fatigue may also make it more difficult to say yes. This is especially likely to be the case if the decision would change the status quo. When we have decision fatigue, we struggle to even think about making a decision. So, trying to decide what is wrong or right, incorrect or correct becomes impossible. We therefore usually take the road of least resistance simply because it's easy. Fear of the unknown. When we make a decision based on an unknown outcome, we've got no idea what the result is going to be. This gives rise to feelings of trepidation and fear. Your mind races. You struggle to work out the possible scenarios and outcomes. You try to identify which steps will make your life easier. As humans, we innately want to make our lives easier, not more difficult. The unknown makes life difficult. You can't practice for the unknown because by definition, you don't know what it is. It's like climbing a mountain you've never seen, with no idea of the terrain or scale. We all have moments in life when we're presented with information that commands us to make a decision. Those decisions open up the unknown, and thus fear. However, change is inevitable. We all need to make decisions. Some may be small, some may be big, but all create unknowns. On a positive note, we can view unknowns as an adventure and a chance to change and grow. They show you a way of viewing life differently. While it's frightening to have to face challenging choices, you can embrace them as a self-challenge. When you overcome intimidating obstacles like this, you'll feel more successful and empowered. On the downside, though, there can be crippling fear. This amount of fear can rob you of your ability to take on change and growth. It can prevent you from moving forward or backward. It removes your chance to experience something new. Fear of the unknown is a fear of adaptation and failure. It's a fear of having your comfort zone stripped away. It negatively affects your ability to make wise judgments. As a result, you avoid being accountable for the decisions you make. Yet, although fear of the unknown is scary, it's important to be aware that change isn't always bad. The unknown can be positive and exciting. Since life is an ongoing cycle of choice, we need to find ways to prevent the unknown from crippling us.
Please comment, and let us know your opinion on the topic for our next video. We are done for today. See you again soon. Thank you.